A multi-million-dollar apartment, an old-school Mercedes convertible, dozens of watches, just a few of the items former Trump attorney Rudy Giuliani has been ordered to hand over. And he has until the end of the week to do it, or he'll face contempt charges. A federal judge gave the order last week. He owes a pair of Georgia election workers close to $150 million for defaming them for doing their jobs after the 2020 election. And since he says he doesn't have that kind of cash, the courts have ordered him to hand over his possessions instead. Giuliani now claiming he doesn't even have money to buy food, asking for help. With us now is someone who's worked very closely with America's mayor, Ken Friedman. He was the press secretary for his 1993 mayoral campaign. He was also a consulting producer on the CNN original series, Giuliani, What Happened to America's Mayor. Ken, good to see you.
Thank you, Jessica. You too.
I'm struck by, good to see you. I'm struck with the line, I can't buy food. He's asking for help. What does this signal to you about where Rudy Giuliani is right now?
Well, I don't think he's down to his last meal, but he's raised $150,000 since yesterday, since he posted on Twitter his GoFundMe page to help him eat. I suppose that's some tailwind from Trump's winning, that $150,000. And Giuliani probably feels emboldened that Trump was reelected, but he can't help him in Georgia. He can't help him in Arizona because those are state charges. So he's on his own, both in these civil actions and in those criminal cases that I mentioned that he's been indicted for. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. He owes a creditors committee, which includes Smartmatic and Noel Dunphy, and several other creditors, untold millions. They've made claims as well. So if he gets sanctioned next week, is he going to pay it? I doubt it. Will he be sentenced to prison? I doubt it. But Judge Lyman, I suspect, is not playing games anymore. He gave him another week's extension, and he won't let him make him look like a fool much longer.
Well, and I'm curious, too, and I don't know if you know the answer to this or not, but for the GoFundMe page, if you have now been told to give almost everything you have because you claim you don't have any money to pay these fines, these damages, does he get to keep that $150,000? How does that even work?
Don't know. I don't know the legal rules on that, but I'll bet they'll attach that as well. They're attaching the $2 million that Trump owes Rudy for legal work. So, I think he's going to run out of fingers, this little Dutch boy.
And it is remarkable. I mean, always when we cover this story to think about, and I think you had a front row seat to this, just the incredible downfall of a man who was once heralded as America's mayor is now in this position that we're outlining right now.
I talk to people all the time who think he's hit rock bottom, and then he somehow digs himself a little deeper hole. And if you're shameless and shameful, I suppose there's no bottom.
And do you think he's still, I mean, in terms of, well, you just laid it out perfectly, which is there really is no Trump lifeline here because of where these cases are.
Right.
Do you think in his mind he still, though, really connects himself with the former president, now president-elect?
Yes, he does. Listen, remember he spoke at the rally at Madison Square Garden, and that was only a couple of weeks ago. So he's still on the Friends of Trump list. I mean, it remains to be seen what kind of favors he'll be granted.
Yeah. And we also know that, look, I kind of went through it at the beginning with what they're trying to get him to turn over: the apartment, the cars, the watches. There's also 4 Yankees World Series rings, which you have to think that sort of stuff is that hurts.
Yeah, that's valuable, and it hurts. Certainly, it hurts personally, very much like being disbarred in New York and Washington, D.C. I'm pretty sure that the ruse to convince the court that he gifted those rings to his son will be exposed soon enough too. It's just a matter of, kicking the can down the road. He's playing keep away from the court, and he's not going to, he's going to run out of rope soon.
Yeah, eventually you end up in a dead end. All right, Ken Friedman, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Trump's former attorney, Rudy Giuliani, was in court this week, and a judge is threatening to hold him in contempt if he does not turn over his assets to those 2 election workers he defamed back in 2016. They've been accusing him of resisting, even hiding assets. How serious is this for Giuliani?
Well, it's only going to end poorly for Rudy Giuliani. He's managed to kick the can down the road up till now, but he's running out of road. I mean, let's remember, he's also under indictment. He on state level charges in Georgia, and he's also had his law license stripped. Now, this is a civil case, so he owes Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss about $148 million. Obviously, he'll never be able to pay that, but now they're trying to seize his assets through the courts, as they're entitled to do, and the judge here is clearly fed up and beyond with Rudy Giuliani. Rudy's already been kicked out of bankruptcy court because he was playing games with his assets. So it's only a matter of time before those assets get seized and turned over to the rightful plaintiffs. Rudy keeps trying to fight, but he's out of rope here. He just can't fight this any longer. And eventually his property is going to get turned over to the plaintiffs who are rightly entitled to it.
And Ellie, is there anything a President Trump can do for him?
Not at all. Donald Trump cannot issue a pardon in a state case. As I mentioned before, Rudy Giuliani is not facing federal charges. He's only facing state charges criminally at this point. And the president has no ability to get involved in a civil case, in a lawsuit, in a bankruptcy, in anything like this. So I think Rudy's on his own here.
Yeah, this is the end of the road, it sounds like, for him when it comes to this. All right, Ellie Honig, as always, thanks so much.